The I Expect You to Die is a wildly popular series of escape room style games where you are a secret agent who dies a lot. They have dropped an MR game now independently even on App Lab outside of the games. It is a completely free download and it puts you in mixed reality. It's available on the Quest 2 also, but really shines on the Quest 3 or the Pro where you have the color pass through. But when I say it shines when it works right for you. You've got to make sure you have your room fully set up right with the correct walls and furniture around you. This game drops you into the I Expect You to Die universe. Still, for how long it's been, has a very small number of ratings at about 17 ratings, giving it a 4.2 star. Most of those are positive with 58% 5-star ratings. People saying it's a free I Expect You to Die game. Other people having problems with the wall system. When they set up the walls, it didn't work right. People also mentioning they did a poor job with the walls and it didn't work for them. But people saying it's enjoyable and a great spin-off from the main games. Personally, I was having this really glitchy. I've tried it a couple times. I'm going to try reinstalling it on an alternate headset as well. But my hands wanted to disappear in the beginning and then I could not find a weapon to take out the bugs when they came at me. I loved all the I Expect You to Die games in VR though, so I'm really excited to hopefully get to try this one again and get it to actually work right the next time. So be warned, it may still be glitchy on the Quest 3, but if you've had it work, let me know in the comments what headset you're on, because I really do want to play through this whole thing. Blaston is a PvP VR shooter. It came out back in 2020. You and a friend go up against each other in duels with different kind of weapons. You're dodging bolts and trying to take each other out. It went free to play more recently, and now with its mixed reality mode, especially in color on the Quest 3, this game actually really shines, especially if you get two people in the same home with two Quest 3s playing together. Over 2,500 ratings gives us about a 4.5 star, and 76% of those are 5-star with just another 9% at 1 star. People bringing up recently, of course, it's amazing in mixed reality. People saying it's a great concept, especially now that it's free to play. People saying it's a blast, but other people bring up that they've had issues recently where the app was no longer supported, it said, when they go on the Quest 1, especially when they already paid for this app before. That can be very frustrating. One review bringing up how you're in a bar ordering drinks and they're encouraging 10-year-olds to go in a bar and order drinks because this game is rated everyone 10 plus, little reach there, and people who had paid for it before saying they had paid for it and they were bored, but a lot of the lower reviews citing Quest 1 users who can't play this anymore. But with all that, it is free now, and if you got a Quest 3 to try it on, the mixed reality in your own space can be really cool. Next Player Please is a truly unique game for MR because it's also been MR before the Quest 3 or color pass-through, and it's really unique because this game has you playing with your friends while one person has the headset on and other people are using the controllers kind of blind, leading the ship, and other different mini games where this can actually be a party game to play together. It also got around the black and white pass-through by adding kind of a grainy colored animated effect to the mixed reality so that it's still really enjoyable even on the Quest 2. Not a very well-known game with only 12 ratings, giving it about a 4.7 star, and all those are 3 stars or above. People saying it's an amazing idea. People saying it's just a really cool concept. One Quest with 4 players playing together. People bring up local multiplayer VR, something they haven't seen. It was something a little bit more familiar on the original PSVR, but with the Quest it's much harder without the social screen or the other controllers that people can play together on. Definitely something you might use at your next party with a couple of people to try VR together in a really unique way. Spatial Ops is the only one you won't find on the actual App Lab Oculus store. You do have to go over to SideQuest for that, but it is worth the trouble. Spatial Ops is a multiplayer shooter arena where you are using your real-life Locomotion, running around in a room with your friends, and now that it's in color on Quest 3, it's really good to play together. Of course, this does mean you need to have multiple people on Quest 3, so hopefully if a couple of your friends have gotten one, this is something you can get a little bit of space and set this up together, but there's nothing quite like running and throwing grenades over the walls at each other and trying to dodge each other's attacks in real life when you play a game. They've also got more modes coming as they develop this, and I've gotten to try ones where you can play alone in a room or paired up with a friend, fighting enemies through a portal in the wall. That way you don't have to have the massive amounts of space, but if you can get that space and play this game like it's meant to be played, it's awesome. And the 4.6 over 30 ratings agree. People saying it's not only amazing in mixed reality, but it looks incredible. People pointing out how it's free, people playing for hours and being hooked. Definitely worth it if you can get a friend group together and try this. First Encounters comes automatically on the Quest 3, and it is one of the only ones on this list that is exclusive Quest 3 only. If for some reason you skip this as you were too excited to get into other games, I would recommend go back and check this out. It has aliens breaking through your actual walls and ceiling, coming in the room after you, and you're trying to shoot them, and it's really just a fun intro to mixed reality. It's something that you'll probably want to hang on to whenever you show someone new mixed reality because it's simple and easy to understand, but people have a really good time playing it. With that, you're looking at almost 50 ratings so far, giving this thing about a 4.4 star. People saying it's the great first MR game to play. People saying amazing tech, perfection for your first Quest MR game, but other people saying they're having some bug issues. They've uninstalled it and it's still there. People saying the system itself is stopping, but it's already on your Quest 3 if you have one. It's free, so if you did skip it, I'd say give it a chance, but make sure you set up your room right with the walls around you so that it is more immersive when they're breaking through. Reality Ruler is a tool to actually use your VR headset to measure anything in your space, and I've got to be honest, I'm not sure how, but this is some some of the most fun I've actually had in MR. There's just something really satisfying about going around measuring things in your space and then verifying with a tape measure that it was really working correctly. You can measure like everything, not just lines, calculations of areas, angles, volumetrics. I was shocked at what a good time I had, and it was obvious in the tutorial this was made for Quest 2 because it was like the black and white pass-through, but with the color pass-through on the Quest 3, it looks really good when you're doing it. Only one rating it, giving it 5 stars. 1% is the best MR out. They were absolutely blown away by this. I don't know why, but they're right. I really enjoyed this one. It might surprise you. It's free. I'd say check it out. Go measure things in your house. See if your TV is actually the size it claims to be. I don't know. Mythic Realms is a really neat idea, but it feels like it's early in development. It takes your home environment, changes it into this mythical world, takes away the ceiling, you see the sky up above you, but you need to have a big play space for this thing to actually work. Otherwise, it's going to put things outside of your play space beyond the boundaries where you can actually reach them. You've got sword, pickaxe, axe, you're harvesting wood, or you're fighting enemies, and it switches you back and forth between like full VR and MR experiences, kind of this super immersive mode and this mixed reality where you're fighting the enemies at, and you're kind of rebuilding this kingdom piece by piece. It's a neat experience. 10 ratings, giving it just over a 4-star rating. People saying this is the first pass-through RPG. Great potential. Someone's like a complete mess. And it definitely can mess with you, especially if the play space gets off and everything's in the wrong spot in the room. It definitely can be tricky. It's something that even in the short time I spent with it, I wanted to see where it would go next. Miracle Pool lets you put an MR pool table anywhere in your house. This thing looks like it's pretty true to real size though, so you better have a lot of space for it. Otherwise, you're going to be moving this table all around instead of you moving around it to play. It says it's a room scale only experience, and it recommends that you have 10 feet by 13 feet of space. Practice alone, you play against the computer, with friends, or ranked matches even randomly online. They do warn this is an early access version, and they reserve the rights to change pricing and features, so this probably won't stay free forever. But with that, over 100 ratings has it at nearly a 5-star rating. 87% 5 stars. People saying it's amazing. Best mixed reality experience so far. The dev makes the best pool games. Miracle Pool wins mixed reality. Only one person giving it a 1 star, saying that they've been using the headsets and kept putting them in single player offline. And the only other lower review at 3 stars, a person saying they meant to do 5 stars and it won't let them change it now. If you've always wished to have a pool table at home, but you don't want to get an actual one to take up all the space, this is a pretty cool substitute for it. ARealm is a game where you better have a ton of space. You can have some sort of open room, or maybe even take this thing outside with friends, although don't get any sunlight in your headset. This is a multiplayer augmented reality role-playing game. I've got to say, checking this thing out, it's really cool, but the space in my studio, I should have went to our other space where we have a bigger room and try this out, especially with multiple people in these headsets, because this thing has you fighting enemies coming at you from all directions, big bosses showing up that you're trying to take down, and it really reminds you how the idea of multiplayer MR gaming can be so fun, but it can also feel safer than VR because you can see what's happening around you. 4 ratings, all perfect 5-star ratings so far. People saying it's fun multiplayer co-op experience, hype AR fighting. If you somehow got multiple headsets, this is definitely one. While it's free, check this out, get your friends in, but get some space to play together. PozeAR, although when they pronounce it in game, it kind of sounds like they're just saying poser, is an interesting, it's augmented reality martial arts training app. Another one that ignores your play space, so set up your play space or have a big area to do it. And something about height was way off because it thought I was like 6'10", but it's really interesting. It has these augmented reality instructors that show you the motions, and then you step into their space and you do the motions after them. It wants you to use hand tracking for it. It's a little tricky at times though, because if your hand's down at your side and you're looking away, your hand might start doing whatever, but also it shows you where you're going to move, but you're looking at a target, so it can be hard to line up your hand reaching back and then reaching to punch in the same way they want you, or you end up punching the wall like I did. 7 people have tried it so far and given it all 5-star ratings. One person saying they never review or comment on anything, but this was so good they had to. People saying the best use of pass-through, a fun way to practice, a must for the martial artist. I'll give you a quick disclaimer here though, MR is still so new that I think a lot of times the novelty of the way it works and how you feel while you're playing it can get people to rate things higher and say, oh my gosh, this was the coolest thing. Not all of these apps are going to have any legs to play for any length of time, although PozeAR, if they add a lot more, I could see this being supplemental to someone's martial arts training. Home Detective we've talked about before. You're at home, you're a detective, and you work from home, so you recreate crime scenes in AR. Now this is a demo, you're only going to get to play 1 level of it, but to experience that, it is really neat to see how they do this, and it might tempt you into buying the other levels. With the full color color pass-through. You've got the crime scene recreated in your home. You're looking around for clues. It's a little obvious because, I mean, all the clues are likely going to be the only MR objects in the room, or at least a selection of a few of them, but it is a neat experience. 29 ratings, giving this one the lower rating of about a 3.8 rating. Some people saying they love the game. Others saying that there are certain features that need to be removed from the game, like the 3D models, the floating hands, and people echoing the same complaints throughout. After trying it myself, I never had any of the hand glitches, but my issue was, of course, certain things would populate in parts of the room you didn't want them to. It would be nice if you could line up a door with a door and make sure that the tables are the right height around you, but it's definitely a cool case of MR to check out. So that's a list of some of the coolest things right now you can try in MR for free. Most of these are also available on the Quest 2 if you do want to try, even with the black and white pass-through, but of course the Quest 3, Quest Pro are going to be where these things shine. If there's other ones out there you've tried that you think should be on this list are really good, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for coming out, and I will see you in another reality.